Annotations will be written in the book on a chapter, pen, paper. How far I think I'm gonna get into this book? I think in 25 minutes, maybe uh, 10 pages, 11 pages. It depends. What else? What do I think I'll read about? By the title, I think it's going to be about the maybe people hanging out only virtually, or like maybe more so the less of like in person communication or in person interaction, and more so virtual interaction, which I think even now, the I was thinking when I saw the title of the book, I was thinking that I think technology was kind of the downfall of like the best friend. We see the best friend in like a lot of TV shows and stuff, and like the best friend is a person who the best friend came over your house, you came over their house, their parents know you, your parents know them, type of, you go on like vacations together with your best friend to different places. But now that technology has allowed us to have a greater access to the world, we see some of the darker, more horrible things other people do. And we can't trust each other, or we can't trust, as a parent, another person enough to let my child go out and sleep over someone's house, or be out of the state with someone who isn't maybe immediate family, you know. So, let me write that down. Downfall of the best friend through access to the evil, I don't know, of humanity. Okay, let's begin. Kevin and I sat down at two desks just outside his third period class at a high school in northern San Francisco. Not San Francisco, San Diego. He is 17 years old, Asian American, with spiky black hair, fashionable glasses, and it says a wan smile. I think warm. He's the oldest of three children, with his parents expecting another child in a few months. Until recently, the family lived in an apartment where the noise from his younger siblings was deafening. Perhaps as a result, he is unusually empathetic for a teenage boy. Been doing this all day, he asks as I take a drink of water before beginning our interview. Kevin is not the most organized student. He initially neglects to have his dad sign the back of the permission slip, and when I talk to the class later, he forgets his question by the time I call on him. But when I talk to him, what makes his generation different, he doesn't hesitate. I feel like we don't party as much. People stay in more often. My generation lost interest in socializing in person. They don't have physical get togethers. They just text each other, or they can just stay at home. Period. I also have a. I don't like people. I don't like humans, okay? So I'd rather not socialize. Anyway, Kevin is on to something. For example, IGen teens spend less time at parties than in any previous generation. The trends are similar for college students who are asked how many hours a week they spent at parties during their senior year in high school. In 2016, they said 2 hours a week. Only a third of the time Gen X students spent at parties in 1987. The decline in partying is not due to IGen studying more. As we saw in Chapter 1, homework time is the same or lower. The trend is also not due to immigration or changes in ethnic composition. The decline is nearly identical among white teens. Prior, I think going to parties. I have never been to a party that was not family related. If it wasn't a family party or a party hosted by family, I've never gone, actually, which I think is funny. Priya, the high school freshman we met in Chapter 1, says she hasn't been to any parties and doesn't want to. What you read in books is like, oh my god, high school has all these football games and parties, and when you come there, no, one really doesn't. No one is really that interested, including me. In the SDSU freshman survey, several mentioned that the high school parties they had gone to had been adult-run affairs, not exactly the ragers memorized in the 1980s John Hughes movies where kids got drunk and wreck their parents' homes. The only parties I went to in high school were birthday parties, and they were almost always supervised or included an adult somewhere. Noted Nick, 18. Why are parties less popular? Kevin has explained that people party because they're bored. They want something to do. Now we have Netflix. We can watch series nonstop. There's so many things to do on the web. He might be right. With so much entertainment at home, why party? Teens have other ways to connect and communicate, including the social media websites they spend so much time on. I just finished watching two. No, I finished. Well, yes, I finished watching two Asian American TV shows and on Netflix, and now I'm watching a third. While also, I found a way to watch another. I found a specifically Asian drama and TV show app, which I'm planning on watching a series on there as well. Which is why usually I stay in my dorm room. There's no need for parties at all. Netflix is a lifeline for me. It lets me de-stress. Okay. Maybe parties aren't for this cautious, career-focused generation, especially with the declining popularity of alcohol. Perhaps IGeners are issuing parties in favor of just hanging out with their friends, except they're not. Oh, well. The number of teens who get together with their friends every day has been cut in half in just 15 years, with especially steep declines recently. Why do I need to be, if I'm your friend, I don't need to be with you every single day to be friends. I know my friends, we when we saw each other, we saw each other. When we didn't, we didn't. We weren't like rushing to be at each other's side every 24/7. I think relationships are stronger now. I think let's say relationships relationships are stronger now than previous generations. uh, uh, Before us, it seemed like generations before us, to be included as friends, you would have to see each other every weekend. You have to constantly be talking to like cement that you were friends. They needed constant validation. Constant validation. Hang out with friends, the number of teens who get together, blah, 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 blah. This might be the most definitive evidence that IGeners spend less time interacting with their peers face to face than any previous generation. It's not just parties or craziness, but merely getting together with friends, spending time, hanging out. There's something nearly everyone does. Nerds and jocks, introverted teens and extroverted ones, poor kids and rich kids, C kids and A students. C students and A students, stoners and clean cut kids. It doesn't have to involve spending money or going somewhere cool. It's just being with your friends, and teens are doing it much less. The college student surveys allows more precise look into the in-person social interaction as it asks students how many hours a week they spend on those activities. College students in 2006 via the late spend 4 fewer hours a week socializing with their friends and 3 fewer hours a week partying. So 7 hours a week less on in-person social interaction. That means IGeners were seeing their friends in person an hour less a day than Gen Xers and early millennials did. On an hour a day less spent with friends is an hour a day less spent building social skills, negotiating relationships, and navigating emotions. Some parents might see it as an hour a day saved for more productive activities, but as we saw in previous 2 chapters, the time has not been replaced with homework, it's been replaced with screen time. Teens also go out with their friends less. Chapter 1 showed that the steep decline in the number of times a week teens go out with their parents, without their parents. The flip side of this is those who don't go out with their friends in a typical week, the ones who are at home on Friday and Saturday night on a regular basis, they used to be a very small percentage of 12th graders, less than 8%, but by 2015, nearly 1 out of 5 high school seniors did not go out with their friends during a typical week. The trend is even larger for 8th and 10th graders. In the 1990s, only 1 out of 5 rarely went out, but by that increased to 1 out of 3. The timing of the recent severe drop in going out and getting together with friends is highly suspicious. It occurred right when smartphones became popular and social media use really took off. Time spent with friends in person has been replaced with time spent with friends and virtual friends online. Some kids are too addicted to social media and games to interact with other people that are actually next to them, explains Kevin. They make like the fake online friends. Some people like help cheer you up online, but you don't really know them. You can't really have a deep relationship with them. Well, sometimes you don't want a deep relationship with people, okay? Like I said, the internet has given us like immediate, almost instant access to what some horrible people do to other people, and you can't trust people truly. So if I can have a social interaction with another person from a distance or from afar or from a place where they can't hurt me, even if they wanted to, why not? Instead of having to make deeper connections and have these consequences that are, I make an in-person friend who knows where I am, who sees me every day, and then if I don't want to be friends with them or they don't want to be friends with me, we have to deal with like the emotional consequences of ending a friendship. When a person online, I can just block them if I don't want to talk to them anymore, and it'll be done. If online relationships beget online relationships lead to less emotional consequences. Less emotional consequences. Thank you. Let's all go together or not. If you were a teen in the 1980s or 1990s, you probably have memories of walking around the mall with your friends, checking out the gear at Sports Authority. I don't know what that is. Or the earrings at Claire's. Okay, Claire's. And then sitting at the table in the food court. IGeners don't do that as much either. Fewer and fewer teens are meeting their friends at the mall to hang out. I've met my friends at the mall. We went to the movies. And then we ate food. And then, we went home. Yes, okay. That is, Jesus, that is at least one reason why so many malls across the country have closed. There's even a BuzzFeed collection of photos of abandoned malls capturing images such as the dying plants around the mirrored escalator at the Rolling Arcs Mall in Ohio, shuttered in 2013 at the former Cloverleaf Mall in Virginia. A popcorn cart sits abandoned, the neon food court sign over it no longer lit. Just down the hallway, dead palm trees are bent in half around an empty fountain in the floor with broken store displays and other debris around it. Another photo with the Roland Park Mall in Ohio features a circular bank of payphones. At the base, a phone book lies with its pages splayed. Rock Hill on the information superhighway. Activity after activity. IGeners are less social than millennials. Gen Xers and boomers were at the same age. As we saw in chapter 1, IGeners are less likely to go out or go on dates. They are also less likely to drive around in a car just for fun. Yeah, what's the purpose of that? Like, just for fun. How is driving around fun? Just driving just because. That's so stupid. The activity at the center of the students' movies are previous eras such as Dazed, Confused, American Graffiti. Okay. A night at the movies has been a standard teen social activity for generations. What do adolescents be if it didn't involve some immature throwing of popcorn? Who throws popcorn at the movies? But as we saw in chapter 2, IGeners are less likely to go to the movies. IGener teens are less likely to go to bars and nightclubs. Teens as in what? 18, 19? Or teens as in 17, 13? 13 to 17. Because if you were going to nightclubs and bars at 13 and 17, you're stupid. Jesus. even since when the age of drinking age was raised to 21 nationwide, the number of high school seniors who went to bars or nightclubs has been cut in half. In 2006, the New York Times documented the new trend of nightclubs for teens called starter clubs, with some for teens under 18. By 2016, however, the Times and other newspapers noted that many dance clubs were closing. That doesn't mean teens are always staying at home having wholesome family time. 13-year-old Athena, whom we met in the introductions, told me that her and her friends are often on their phones when they are at home. I've seen my friends with their families. They don't talk to them, she says. They just say, okay, okay, whatever, while they're on their phones. They don't pay attention to their family. Athena has spent a lot of time by herself lately after her summer of Netflix, texting, and social media. Hold up in her room. My bed has like an imprint of my body. I felt that. She says, as her summer activities illustrate, there is one activity that IGeners do more than their predecessors. They spend leisure time alone. Yes, I like a good alone time. Alone time is fun. Alone time. I love some alone time. Leave me alone. Stop bothering me. Although we can't say for sure, it's a good guess that this alone... wait. On a previous page where they said throwing popcorn, I feel like my generation is a little bit more respectful. IGen seems more, I don't know, courteous when in public. Because if that was a social like understanding that teenagers would throw popcorn or be loud in the movies, I don't think that is something you could say IGeners are. Like, IGeners do a lot. Gen Z does maybe is a lot, but I think that we are more, respectful of public spaces than previous generations were at our age. Although we can't say in short, IGen teens are less likely to take part in every single face-to-face social activity measured across 4 data sets of 3 different age groups. These fading interactions include everything from small groups or one-on-one activities, such as getting together with friends, to larger group activities, such as parties. They include activities with no real aim, such as cruising in car, and those that may have more of a goal in mind, such as going to see a movie. They include activities that might be replaced by online convenience, such as going to a shopping mall, or those that can't be easily replicated online, such as going out with friends. Instead, they are communicating electronically. For example, in conclusion, its conclusion is inescapable. The internet has taken over. Teens are Instagramming, Snapchatting, and texting with their friends more and see them in person less. Agendas for online friendship has replaced Online friendship has replaced offline friendship. Okay. Right. Okay. Blah, 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 bow, wow, wow, wow. They include activities with no real aim. I was gonna say something. Jesus, I can't remember what I was gonna say now. Social something measured, yes. And these fading interactions include everything from small groups to the parties. They include activities with no real aim, such as cruising in... Okay, well, I forgot what I was going to say. Jesus. Some maintain that all the uproar over screen time is misplaced. Teens are getting connected with their friends online, and the rest of their lives have stayed the same. Their graph strongly suggests that this is not true. With the advent of social media and smartphones, teens' social life shifted decisively away from in-person interaction. They spend much less time with their friends in person than teens in previous decades did. About an hour a day less. The lives of teens and the rest of us may never be the same again as mobile internet access puts down deeper and deeper roots in our lives. Others have argued that social media has not replaced in-person interaction because the same teens who spend more time on social media also spend more time with their friends in person. However, that says more about variations among teens, the highly social popular kids versus the less social nerds. than about shifts over time. It's not surprising that highly social teens are more social both on social media and in person, but on average, today's teens are spending less time with each other in person and more time online than teens did 5 years ago, fundamentally changing the lives of adolescents. Well, we have better technology than people did 5 years ago. So, and what is exactly the difference between communication or interaction online and interaction in person? If you're not an IGenner, think back to high school. What do you remember the most vividly? Maybe it's the after prom party. I didn't get to have a prom. That's so sad. I didn't get to have a prom because of COVID and all that. Think after prom party, your first kiss, or the time you and your friends got into trouble at the mall. Chances are, see, another thing, got in trouble at the mall. Why were y'all in trouble at the mall? Why would y'all get in trouble at the mall? Where is it? Maybe, oh, here. You and your friends got in trouble at the mall. Why would you be getting in trouble at the mall in a public situation? Why would you be doing anything that got you in trouble? Chances are it's something that happened with your friends while your parents weren't around. Such experiences are less and less common for today's teens. What will they remember? That funny text exchange they had with their friend, their best selfie, a meme that went viral, or will they remember the few times they were actually with their friends in person? Why are you making it sound like a bad thing? I don't understand that. What is the difference between you having these experiences in person and your first kiss, your whatever, and you and our remembrance of a viral meme or video or personality? What's the difference? And why difference? And why is it a bad thing? Someone explain that to me. I don't understand why it's a bad thing for us to have our special cultural thing, but after prom party when y'all want to get wasted and drunk is supposed to be a fun memory. When anyway, that's not the point. Stop it. Darnell, the 20-year-old college student in Georgia, specifically connects IGen or smartphone use with their disinclination to see people in person. The last generation always wants us to be in person, and a lot of us are not like that, he says. We're more of a technology-based generation. Without my phone, I literally would be lost. I have my calendar, I have my email, I've researched different things. I'm always reading about something. 20-year-old James, a student at the same college, says it's just easier to use social media instead of meeting up in person. It's so tempting to just text someone or to just go on social media and like someone's photo and comment instead of calling and being like, hey, do you want to go or get something to eat? That takes planning, he says. I felt that. Even when they do see their friends in person, technology, especially texting, allows IGeners to avoid certain social interactions. Likes how Henry, 23, likes how texting can get him out of potentially awkward social interactions. When I arrive at a friend's house, instead of knocking on the door and coming face to face with his or her roommates or parents, I just text my friend saying I have arrived. He says it's easy to imagine Henry pulling over to the curb on a suburban street, sending a quick message as his phone glows and watching his friends walk across the lawn alone. He gets in and Henry car speeds into the darkness. All other social interaction avoided. There's no need to do any extra social interaction if I don't have to. The screens go dark. Mental health and happiness. Okay, I'll stop there because I only have a minute left. Anyway, so, this is where I stopped. Let me mark that with a star. It's 24, whatever. How far did you manage to read? How far is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 pages. 8 pages. 8 pages. Oh, Jesus. What are key points you learned from my session? Firstly, the charts show that we are less in-person social, which I think that matched up to what I was thinking anyway. But the key points are that we're less social in person, not less social overall, which I think some people like to say that this generation is less social overall, like on a larger scale, when really we may just be in person less social. What are your plans to finish the text? I'm probably going to read while watching TV, or yeah, I'll probably read while watching TV or something to finish the rest of this text. Yeah. Ba, 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 ba.